Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Am I audible? Okay. So we are going to start today's session, and other may join in between. Further sessions is also being recorded. That may be utilized thereafter. So today we will start next course, that MES 082, and that is first block. Today we are going to discuss. So wait for a moment. I am sharing today's session. Is it visible? Yes. So unit 1 of MES 082, that talks about basic concept of growth and development. These are the very important phenomena in human being as well as the natural things, because these two actions take place everywhere, because growth and development are the continuous process of, even in nature or in all human beings. Yes. So today's session we are going to discuss what is growth and what is development, and what are the principle of growth and development, some different aspects of development, and what are the factors which are affecting growth and development. And further, we will learn how to develop a broad frame of activities for the overall development of the children. So in unit 1 that we are going to discuss, yes, so first of all, we are trying to understand what is growth and what is development. The term growth refers to the dimensional augmentation, cellular multiplication, or quantitative change in size, weight, and numbers. For example, there is a small pieces of sands, and after there is some wind and some, like nature, that sand becomes multiple. So that is growth. If the size is increasing, if the number of particles joining together and their size is becoming large and large, so that is growth. Another example, if we take a small plant, and after a period the plants become a tree, that is growth. So growth leads to increase in size of individual brought about by the interaction between two important factor, that is heredity and environment. And if a child of 5 year age having some weight, some height, and after 2 3 years that height becomes more than comparison to last since 2 years, even size, height, all becomes higher than the previous accounts. So growth lead to increase in size of individual, and that growth also dependent on two factors, that is heredity and environment, and that we will discuss what is heredity and what is environment and what are the factors. So by heredity we mean the traits that a child receive from their parents through their chromosomes, whereas environment refer to those factors that influence the child other than the heredity, which include home environment, school environment, peers, etc. That comes under the environment. So for growth, there are two important factors, that is heredity and one is environment. So there are so many definitions given by the various philosophers, various educationists. Crow and Crow defined that growth as to structural and physiological change, while development refer to growth as well as change in the behavior. Means developments related to kind of behavior as well as growth is related to increasement in size and all. E.B. Harlock defined development as a progressive series of changes that occurs in the orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experience. So this Harlock said that change are coming, and that is in a kind of order. Means one time the shape of one particular is 2 kg, then it become 3 kg, then 4 kg. That means that is a kind of maturation, and it is called growth. It is clear that development is qualitative. Development cannot be seen; it can be observed only. It can be as experience only. So it is clear that development is qualitative, change taking place simultaneously with quantitative change of growth. If somewhere development is taking place, that simultaneously growth is also taking place. Development represents change in an individual from its origin to its death, but more particularly the progressive change which take place from origin to maturity. So these are the some definitions about development and the growth. So if we summarize that growth is basically relate in increasement of their size, their weight and the numbers, as well as growth, sorry, development is a kind of qualitative change in the behavior, in their attitude, their awareness, their knowledge, that all comes under the development category. Next. Yes. So this is the basic table differentiating between the growth and development. We will take simultaneously. First of all, growth, it refers to change in a particular aspect of body, that is growth in size of body, whereas the development refer to overall change resulting in improved functioning of an individual. The second difference, growth is narrow aspect, narrow concept, and development is a wider and comprehensive term. Growth does not continue throughout the life. It stops with the attainment of maturity. That is, the normal growth of organism stops when it attains maturity. Like you can see the growth in human being after this particular age, that growth becomes stable. But as well as development is concerned, the development is a continuous process. It does not end with the attainment of maturity. Means when the growth becomes stable, that development is still continuously in the kind of maturity in continuous process. The change produced by growth are observable and measurable. For example, you can observe the measure the height of a child, whereas the change produced by the development are not. It cannot be observed. It cannot be quantified that particular growth is there in their behavior. For example, you cannot see the change occurred in the child as a result of socialization, means what social development and how much social development has been done in the child in particular years. So it cannot be observed and it cannot be measured. The next difference is growth may or may not bring development. For example, a child may grow in a height or weight, but thus growth may not bring any functional improvement, means improvement in the knowledge, improvement in their thinking, improvement in their opinion, improvement in their traits. But whereas the development is possible without any growth. You may see that person is very smaller, but having more development in terms of knowledge and in terms of their behavior. So development is possible without growth. In the case of some children, they do not attain in the term of height, weight, but they do exercise functional improvement of development in social, physical, emotional, and intellectual aspect. The next difference, growth is physical and external in the nature, whereas the development is internal and can be physical, social, emotional, and intellectual. And the next difference is growth leads to structural change, whereas the development is functional improvement because it cannot be seen, it cannot be observed, it cannot be measured. So next is characteristics of growth. So what are the characteristics of growth? Growth proceeds more rapidly in the year of life. You can see the example of growth of child. The rate of growth is not uniform. In every age, the growth is not uniform. The growth occurs at the rapid rate during the infancy stage and during adolescence stage. Growth is gradual process. Growth is cumulative in nature. By cumulative, it means that the earlier stage act as a base for the later growth of an individual. The change that occurs during childhood are the result of the abilities and skills that child acquire during the infancy stage. Growth follow definite sequence and has predictable pattern. If you observe any child, you will find that the growth follow the general pattern, especially in the development of different abilities and skill. For example, the stage of development are in the order infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age. Parents and teacher can predict the expected change that might occur at each stage. As you are aware, that many theories say that at the particular age, the height should be child of that particular, and the weight should be that, and so it is predictable that teachers and parents can predict that at particular age, the height of child should be there. But the growth is not uniform at all individual. Yes, it is very clear that every child is not attaining similar growth as others are taking. There exists individual difference in the growth. You can observe variation in the growth of child at every stage and every child among the same group. For example, if the 5-year age uh, group of 5-year children are there, their growth may not same because of many reason, that may be the heredity and environment that we will discuss next. Yes. So this is the need of understanding principle of growth. As a teacher, what is the need and why we should understand the principle of growth and development? So for understanding the pattern of development, this is the most important. Why? Because as a teacher, as a parents, we should be aware the pattern of development. Knowing exactly what to expect from children enables development psychologists, teachers, and parents to set guidelines in the form of height, weight, scale, age weight scale, age height scale, mental age scale, and social or emotional development scale. There are various scales that at particular age the height of child should be that, and at particular age that weight should be that, and as per the particular years their age and height ratio should be there. So there are so many scale, and that all skills should be aware by the teacher and parents because they are directly indirectly involved in the growth of the child. If there is any deviation observed from normal development, that then it is essential to find out the causes and so that appropriate intervention can be planned. So it is the duty of teacher, especially preschool teachers who are dealing the child 3 to 6 year old. For providing appropriate learning experience, this is the next need. It will also help you as a teacher to guide the children's learning properly. A child must be helped to acquire age appropriate skill means a particular age is there, and that particular age minimum level of learning should be attained by the children. For understanding individual difference, yes, it is also important because individual difference are to be understand by the teacher. Some of the factors which might contribute to the individual difference may include genetic makeup, constitutional factors such as health and energy, environment of the home and school, etc. Understanding of these factors, that may be the environment, that may be the health, that may be the kind of living areas where the child is living. The understanding of these factors would also help a teacher to analyze the reasons behind the differences between two children. If the two children are having same age and the one is taking good growth and second is not, so reasons should be understood by the teacher. And next is understanding behavior. This knowledge about the development principle will also help you as a teacher and parents to prepare the child psychology for the physical and behavioral change that would be occurs as they grow up. So as a teacher, as a parents, we should be aware their behavior means that a particular age behaviors are defined very much, and various psychologists has given the behavioristic theory that that particular age that behavior should occur in the child. If anything change, then it is the matter of concern for the teacher as well as for the parents. So these there are two important need to understand the principle of growth and development. One is for understanding the pattern of development, for providing appropriate learning experiences, for understanding individual differences, and the next is uh, understanding behavior. So there are some principles of growth and development in kind of very overview. Principle of continuous development. So as you are aware that development is a continuous process and it starts from infancy and it goes up to the kind of not up to the maturity level, even up to the death. The development is continuous, and every child develop in term of their behavior, in term of their attitude, in terms of their knowledge. So it is a continuous process. Principle of orderly sequence. Yes, in the development there is a kind of sequence that at that particular age learner should aware that particular that. So it is a kind of sequential. Every age has a scale that at this level that student or learner or child should aware these knowledge, these kind of knowledge. Principle of unique development. Yes, everybody have unique development. One are having very intelligent, very intellectual. Some may be extraordinary. Some may be the kind of slow learner. Some may be the high achiever. So it's is totally depend on the heredity and environment. So every individual has unique development. Principle of interrelation. There are various factors for the development. Like if environment is good, then hereditary the child is not good. If the hereditary is good, but environment may not be good, so their development depend on the interrelations of both heredity as well as environment. Principle of interaction of heredity means nature and nurture. So both interactions should be there for the good development of the child. Principle of interaction of maturation and learning. See, learning is a endless process, continuous process, and for by that particular maturation, the learning levels are defined. So there are link between the maturation as well as learning, but learning is a continuous process. Principle of proceeding from genetic to specific response. Development of development have a very important characteristics that think in a general way, but try to reach some specific results, some specific responses. Principle of development direction. Development is always towards high and kind of attainment. It cannot be deterioration as well as growth that may be higher to smaller because of environmental changes. Principle of predictability. As a teacher, as in earlier slide, we have discussed that a teacher and parents can predict the development as well as the growth of the child. Principle of spiral versus linear development. You must be aware that development is two types. One is spiral and second is linear. If the development is taking place in a right direction or in a simple kind of a straight line, then it is a linear development. If it is concerned with the kind of cognitive and kind of mental, so it is a kind of spiral, because spiral in the spiral development many things develop simultaneously, whereas the linear development only one development take place. So these are the some principle of growth and development. So this is a very important table to understand the stages of development. See, as per the age, then age of development and schooling stage. So birth to 2 years, that is called infancy, and 2 years to 6 year, that age group is called early childhood, and school name is preschooling. 6 year to 12 year, later childhood, that comes primary school. 12 year to 18 year, that called adolescence age, and for that the school is secondary. And 18 year to this 40 years, that adult childhood, and that comes under the this tertiary level and higher school. And further 40 years to 65 years, that is mature adulthood, and over 65, that is aged adulthood. So this is the stages of development, and as a teacher we should be aware. So factor influencing growth and development. A child is influenced by two factors that we have already discussed. One is heredity and second is environment. Heredity is an inherent quality or tendency which comes from their parents, their grandparents, whereas the environment include all factors that surrounds an individual, means kind of this environment, nature, their peer group, their homely environment, that all comes under the environment. Next. This is the importance of early childhoods. What is the importance of early childhood and how they are linked with kind of growth and development? The period of infancy and early childhood have been acknowledged as the most significant in the life of an individual, because development, a rapid development found in that particular age group. So it is a kind of base, kind of first pillar of the development. First few years of life influence that way of thinking and behavior of individuals. Secondly, the rate of development in all areas, physical, cognitive, social, language, emotional, is most rapid during these years. These are the importance. The thirdly, since development is proceeding at a very fast rate, unfavorable experience such as lack of adequate food or lack of kind of nurturance, lack of kind of care, unhealthy living conditions, sickness, lack of interactions, which adults or this exploitative working conditions will hinder development to a considerable extent. So these are the kind of hindrance which are affect the proper development in the child. So, as a teacher, we should be aware that what is the importance of development and what is the and why it is important to know in early childhood, because early childhood age is taken is known as rapid development in these particular ages, and that it give a long impact on the life of the individual. So this is the first unit. So we will start the second unit within a break of 30 seconds. Just wait. We are going to start. Yes. So by knowing the concept of development, we are going to discuss the development in human and what are the dimensions of human development. So in this unit second, we will discuss what are the different dimensions of development and distinguish between different aspect of development, explain the importance of each aspect of development, and apply the principle of development in the classroom. So unit 2 is kind related to kind of human development. So first of all, we try to understand what is human development and what is the definition, what is the meaning of human development. Human development is a kind of complex process and involves a scientific study of both the qualitative and quantitative ways in which individual change over the time. Because in development there are two type of changes are found. One is qualitative and second is quantitative. Qualitative means in term of knowledge, in term of their behavior. And quantitative kind of their attaining age means their height, their age. It all comes under the human development. So development is a continuous process and it is influenced by a number of factors such as family, environment, nutrition. The major dimensions of development are: one is physical development. You are aware that physical development means the increasement in their body of the child. Motor development means their actions, development in their actions, their movement of their hand, their body parts. Emotional development means kind of change in behavior in terms of emotions. Social development, how to deal, how to cope up, how to interact with the society, that comes under the social development. Moral development means how he is behaving, how manner he or she is having, it comes the moral development. Development of language is very clear, means the proper pronunciation, proper sentence, and proper kind of language, that comes under the development of language. That mental development is also there, means their IQ level development in their IQ, that comes under the mental development. So these the kind of development we will discuss even further next coming slides also, because there is a kind of repetition in their other terms. So this is about the kind of dimensions of development. This is physical and motor development. We are going to discuss one by one the kind of development that we have listed out in the previous slides. So one is physical and motor development. Physical development refer to a process which brings progressive change in the external as well as the internal body organs of the individual, resulting increase in the ability of function properly. So it comes the physical development, whereas the motor development refers to the development of strength, speed, and accuracy or in the use of muscular part of the body, and coordination and control of muscular movement means use of hands, use of legs, and use of kind of speaking, and how much we can run, how much speed we are taking in their even their in speaking and running, and what kind of accuracy that comes under the motor development. The general characteristics of physical development: different part of body grow at different pace. Sometimes their growth is rapid, sometimes it is slow. This difference is rhythm of growth gives rise to different in proportion between the children of different age. Means if we are watching the child body development in the age of 5 year, 6 year, that we can see, we can observe the difference of growth in their height, even in the length of their hand, increasement in the length of their other body parts. Physical development is very rapid during infancy, that we are many times we have discussed that all kind of developments is taking place in the childhood, but as far as physical development is there, it is very rapid during infancy. Period of pre-childhood is a period of kind of further development, means childhood age is known as the rapid development age of the child. Next, this is the characteristics of physical development at preschool. What are the characteristics of physical development at preschool stage? After birth, growth in some parts, such as height, is more rapid, while other at the age of 6 years, the growth of lymphoid tissues, which are concerned with the immunity, reach the adult level, and it become double at the age of 12, and then decline as the individual reaches maturity. Means kind of this immunity developed age wise, but at the particular age that known as maturity, after that even immunity slowly gradually it's come down. So this is the characteristics of growth. Also the neural growth is more rapid after birth, and by the age of 4 approximately 80% of neural growth is complete. In childhood, girls generally have less height and weight than boys. By the age of 5.5 years, the child attains 65% of the height he or she will achieve by the age of 17 years. So these are the some characteristics, means at particular age, what should be the height, what should be the further development in their body parts. At 4 years of age, the limbs are about 50% larger than their size at 2 years age. The limbs continue to grow from 4 to 16 years, means that complete up to the 16 years. The feet increase by 40% in first 2 years of the life, and then grow up to the 50 years by the age of 4. So these are the some characteristics of physical development. This is the characteristics of motor development at preschool age. It has been found that 3-year-old children are able to perform the following activities. Means if the child is having 3-year age, that he or she will be able to manipulate material, ride a tricycle, feed itself with little spilling, throw object overhead, make object with clay, stand on one foot, jump upward. These are the some basic characteristics of the child as far as the motor development. If the 4-year old children are able to perform the following activities: skip on one foot, tie shoes laces, dress and undress, cut on lines with scissors, run board jump, throw overhead with less body participation. So these are the some basic observations by the researchers and by the psychologists. As 6-year age students should perform these following: climb the ropes, throw and catch ball, build blocks, shoulders height and tight touch, cut paste, model and colors skillfully. So these are the skill as per the age and given by the educators and researchers which are involved in the human development of the child. This is what are the educational implications to understand the human development. Why it is important? Because provide nutritious food for growing child. If we are aware, then what kind of development should be there. If it is not, then a teacher as a parent we should provide a nutritious food for the growing child. In addition, they should be encouraged to manipulate, handle and use different objectives so as to provide appropriate opportunities for eye-hand coordination at all stages. Activities like clever, coloring, tearing, cutting, painting, threading, and sewing, etc., should be planned. So these are the educational implication. Means as a teacher for the particular age group, we should give these kind of activities so that their physical development could take place, their mental development could take place, and their other development could take place. So this is why important to understand the growth, human development. Sorry. Proficiency of motor skill depends upon regular practice. Therefore, the repeated activity must be performed. For example, you can give writing text to the child on a regular basis, and by using that, their writing will be improved. Means their motor skill will be developed. Demonstration of motor skill is very valuable for beginners. So, parents and teachers should try to demonstrate those skills to be acquired by the children, especially in the initial stages. Independent activity accompanied by the strong motivation leads to speedy motor development. Means independent activity should be given to the child for their speedy motor development. Supervision should be moderate. It cannot be kind of very directive and all. It should be moderate because if parents expert too much pressure on the children to acquire certain abilities, sometimes the children may get irritated due to boredom and also due to the lack of informants. So all kind of activities should be done under the supervision, but the supervision should be friendly as well as moderate. The factors affecting emotional development: children who are weak in the structure or who suffer from occasional illness are more emotionally upset and unstable than children whose health is better. Pupil with reasoning and sharp intelligence can check sudden rise of emotions. Similarly, under emotional experiences, reasoning and thinking power decrease. Healthy relationship between parents and children has a remarkable role in their emotional development of the child. Means if the if there is a good relation between the parents and children, so their emotional developments increase, and that is totally depend on their relations of the children and their parents. School related factor: the attitude of teacher towards the children, towards the dealing others, discipline at school, academic facilities. What are the academic facilities are available? Physical facilities like furniture, refreshment activities, method of teaching, availability of co-curricular activities, means kind of inclusion of play and physical activities that influence the emotional development of the child. So this is one of the most important factor. Means school is also important to make a good emotional development among the child. There is a great influence of classmates, means peers, their friends, and other members of the group. A child who has many friends and peer is more emotionally mature than a child who does not have sufficient number of friends. So this is also one of the other important factor. Emotional development of the child is influenced by factor operating in the social environment, in which kind of society in which the children lives. The brave community is sure to produce fearless, courageous children, whereas the children grow in emotionally polarized community shows emotional instability and emotional susceptibility. Means if the society is having kind of very strong uh, belief that their emotions are important, are sharing with each other. If the whereas the other community which is comparatively less and comparatively less courageous, so their impact definitely their child would have less emotional development. Further, the role of teacher. Yes. So, as far as emotional development, a teacher should be aware what are the factors in emotional development. As emotional development depends upon the psychological and physiological conditions of the learner, home atmosphere also exercise good influence on the emotional development of the child. The teacher should seek the active cooperation of the parents in making the atmosphere at the home for their proper emotional development. So means teachers are also important for the emotional development of the child. The interpersonal relationship in the child in the school should be in such a way that it should provide emotional security and sense of belongingness to children. Pre-primary school teachers should try to help each child to mingle with one another. Otherwise, he or she will be somewhat kind will be the introvert in his later stage of development. So, teachers should motivate. Teachers should motivate for their emotional development of the child. Children should be encouraged to participate in diversified co-curricular activities in the school, as they are the source release pent up kind of energies. Means even co-curricular activities are important for the emotional development of the child. Preschool teachers should adopt dynamic and progressive method of the teaching by incorporating a lot of plays and activities. Otherwise, a student does not get a chance to express their feeling and thoughts. Children should be taught with the importance of respecting elders, especially in the growing stage. The famous saying is apt of this regard. Give respect and take respect is the example. Means whatever we are behaving with the child, the child also learn that kind of behavior. So this is the best example. Give respect and take respect. By respecting their individuality, and the children get satisfied. Sorry. Next is moral and religious education through several stories, pictures should be shown to the student that will help them to attain emotional balance and tolerance. So this is the one important factor, and it is the duty of teacher that moral and religious education should be given to the learners by telling stories and showing pictures, and this is important for the emotional development of the child. Next is social development. We have discussed motor development and this physical development and emotional development. Next is social development. The ability of socially adjusted which help him or her to strike a successful relation with the society. This comes under the social development, and that is willingness to cooperate with others, ability to tolerate view of others, to have respect for various social groups, ability to adjust with people and make friends, developing a sense of belongingness and enjoying social acceptance. These all comes under the social development. So there are this is a kind of table which shows the developing stage, means during first month pattern of social behavior, which kind of social behavior should be in the child, should develop in the child. During first month, the child cannot differentiate between human voice and other voice. In the second month, recognize the sounds of human being and gives a smile to person. Third month, recognize its mother and feel unhappy on separation. Fourth month, shows selective attention to human faces and feel happy in company. In fifth month, react differently to smile and scolding and distinguish between friendly and these angry voices. 6 and 7 months recognize familiar persons with smile and shows definite expression of fear of strangers. 8 and 9 months attempt imitate the speech, simple act and features observed in others. Between 10 to 12 months attempt to imitate and even kisses as it as if it were another person, and at the age of 2 can cooperate with adult in a number of routine activities and become a active member of the family. So these are the stages in social development of the child. Next is factor affecting social development. Yes, there are many factors which are also affect social development. One is social development of child is regulated by culture and society in which he or she lives. That is why the children coming from different culture have different style of social responses. And with what are the factors? Factors, family is the one of factor, child parent relation is the second, peer group is the next factor, and school is next factor for social development. So first, family is the most important primary agency for socialization of the child. Concisely and unconsciously, the children imitates the behavior of parents and other members in the family and thus pick up many good or bad social characteristics from the family. The parent-child relationship, the language used by parents, the educational level of the parents, the socio-economic status of the parents, and availability of leisure to spend with the parents, number of members in the family, are the other factor influence the social development of the child. Peer group, the peer group satisfy many needs of the child like acceptance, achievement, affection, approval, belongingness, fame, recognition, etc. A good company of peers, especially in the pre-primary classes, of great help in learning good qualities. Through peer group interaction, the child understands how to cooperate, how to lead, how to follow, how to think for common causes, and how to adjust with changing social situations. So this is the impact of social group. And the school is also most important factor. A lot of school related factors influence the socialization of a child. the interpersonal relationship in the school, its traditions, value, and ideals maintained by the institutions, the co-curricular and curricular activities, the social qualities and behavior of the teachers and schoolmates, etc., have great role in the socialization of the child. So this is the school which is also having important role for social development of the child. Moral development. The term moral is derived from the Latin words that mores, which means the kind of manners, customs, and folkways. The moral development of the child implies inculcation in the child a number of qualities for which curriculum provides ample opportunities. So, moral development refer to the development of moral behavior and moral concepts. So, what is the role of teacher in moral development? The child learns moral behavior through identification and imitation. So, parents and teachers should have a good model or should serve a good model to the child. Basic concept of moral development can be inculcated through direct teaching, good mental health practices, use of reinforcement, individualized learning, opportunity for success and achievements, etc., can help students development in a positive self-concept and consequently the desirable moral behavior. Teachers should stress moral qualities like love, sacrifice, self-control, truthfulness, and uprightness while teaching. That should be inculcated by the teachers during the teaching. Moral values which may be inculcated in the child by suggestions through telling stories, telling even poems, and many stories from one important book that is Panchtantra and Gita of Days, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Also, good epics for inculcating the moral values among the child. Biography of great men may also be served the some purpose. Good great men like our soldiers, our leaders, our educationists, our scientists, their biography may also be shared with the children for their moral development. So language development is one on the other development. The development in speech, vocabulary, length of responses of some of important aspect of language development. Vocabulary of the children in the initial stage is limited, which increase during childhood. Crying, bubbling, and gestures are all important form of pre-speech communication. As the mother uh, interact with the child while performing different sort of day-to-day activities, they occurs gradual improvement in the language. So following all the steps in language development, one is facial gestures and sounds, babbling, use of simple spoken vocabulary, one word sentence, combination of word into the sentence, development of skill in reading, and improve mastery of the tool of communication. So these are the steps for the language development among the child. Language development from the point of view of time, which is as follows: as birth, language is predictably absent. Yes, at about 4 weeks, small authority sound are noticed. Language developed start with the child's cry, smile, coding at the age of 16 weeks. Around 28 weeks, babbling stage becomes. Around 40 weeks, baby imitate the sounds made adults and take these other sounds of other systems. So now the baby says one word. Around 50, these are the development ages. Means around 52 weeks, the baby says two or more words. Around 18 months, the baby combines words into the basic sentence. Around 2 months, 24 months or 2 years, the baby use simple phrase and understand simple direct uh, reactions. Around 36 months, the child's vocabulary tremendously increased. Now he talks sentences and answers simple questions. 4 years, the child use conjunction and understand the prepositions. Around 5 years, he The child speaks without emphatic articulation. So these are the ages and what particular age, which kind of language development take place. Factor influencing language development. What are the factors which influence the language development? Imitation of the language used by parents, other adult and teachers. So cultural factors are there, environmental factors are there, degree of maturity, level of intelligence, physical conditions of the child, number of children in the family, socio-economic conditions of the family, child emotional development. So all these are the factors which influence the language development. And the teacher's language competency, if the teacher is not having good language, so their impact will be upon the children also. So as a teacher, you should be very careful in using words and sentences. You should speak very clearly and in the modulated voice with clear pronunciation. Bilingual, another most important factor influencing language developing is bilingualism. If the parents are using different language at home, then the children find it very difficult to develop language skills. So these are the factors which are affect the language development. The next is intellectual development. The process of intellectual development refers to development of ability and capacity which helps an individual to adjust his or her behavior to the ever changing environmental conditions or to enable him or her to accomplish a task that needs complex cognitive abilities. Parameter for ascending of growth and development. What are the parameters? So birth height should be 20 inch, uh, 51 centimeter and 20 inch, and weight should be 3.2. 4 month, 61 centimeter height should be there, and weight should be 6.4. 1 year, 71 to 76 height centimeter, and the weight should be at least 9.5, and 2 year. This is the parameter for assessing the growth and development in the child. So this is next, the development task at preschool stage. The important development task of early childhood, that is preschool, are the following: learning to take solid food, learning to walk, learning to control and elimination of body wastage, learning the kind of genders differences and sexual modesty, getting ready to read, learning to establish this emotional relationship with brothers, sisters, and other family members, learning to distinguish between right and wrong, and developing a conscience. So these are the uh, development stage, and that should be there in the every child at who is at preschool level, preschool stage. So next is unit third, and we are going to start unit third after the break of 30 seconds. Yes. So as we have discussed, there is an important role of heredity as well as environment in the growth and development of the child. So once and Both are important. It is not there that heredity is important for growth and development of the child, or only environment is the important factor for development and growth of the child. In fact, the interactive role means combined role of heredity and environment is important for growth and development of the child. So, in this unit, we will discuss what are the importance of heredity and environment, environmental factors as the determinant of development, and activities according to the development needs of the child. So, quickly, we discuss this topic. So, first we take heredity. Meaning of heredity: heredity is the mechanism by which all traits are inherited by a offspring from the parents of the child. In order to transfer these traits, uh, genes are the medium content in the chromosomes. So this is the meaning of definition. The type of heredity: biological heredity and social heredity. Biological means the genes and traits which are involved in the parents, and the social heredity means what are the living qualities of the family uh, or parents, which are also heredity, but it comes under the social heredity. So the next is how twins are formed. Twins can be either be identical in some scientific uses, and that is called as monozygotic, meaning that develop from one zygote and that split and forms two embryos, or fraternal dizygote because they develop from two separate eggs that are fertilized by two separate sperms. So this is the kind of way and how twins form, and it is comes under the kind of heredity. So heredity versus environment. You know, we are discussing and various educationists, various thinkers, various psychologists has defined that both are important. Heredity is the important factor for the growth and development, and the other says the environment is the important for growth and development of the child. But growth and development is the product of both heredity and environment, because both are important factors for the growth of child and development of the child. So there are two type of persons having different opinion. One is who are hereditarian, who believes that heredity is the most important factor for the growth and development of the child, and some are the environmentalist point of view, who believe that environment is the most important factor for the development and the growth of the child. Both are having their own theory, their own researches, and their own outcomes. But the present way, in present time, the scientists and the theories has proved that for the human development, for the child development, heredity as well as environment, both are important for the growth and development of the child. So this is the basic common important impact. If we talk the physical growth and development, so heredity, under the heredity, height, bodily frames, structure of the body organs are determined by the growth potential in the genes. If the genes are the factors which gives the height to the child as their parents are having. As far as environment, all this heredity influence can be distorted by the abnormal environment. If the proper nutrition and care is lacking, the growth may be badly affected. Yes. Miss, that says that heredity is important. Yes, of course. But if the nurturing, if the nutrition or the proper caring is not there, then definitely their growth and development of the child will be badly affected. Means both are important. Mental development, the structure of the nervous system is also determined by the genes. As far as environmental says, what all traits and this aptitude may be got through genes cannot be flourished if the proper environment is lacking. Means although the genes in the genes the mental development is there, but if the proper environment is not given to the children, that ability will not flourish. Mental and emotional healthy and this personality, that heredity says that children born with very a wider range of general mental, political, and with the different these potentialities for this music, painting, etc., for which limits are set by the genetically. But similarly, environmental says the health, this healthy, healthful family atmosphere where the parents live in love and harmony and are the kind of very supportive to the children, there is a high probability that the children will have good mental and emotional health than the in highly productive and unstable families. The next is this attitude and beliefs and values. As per the heredity philosopher at opinion, the physical structure and nervous system, glands, etc., which are the product of heredity, may influence the emotional health and the personality of the child. Position of life depends greatly on these capacities and the traits which are inherited. As far as this environmental theory, attitude, values, beliefs develop largely from the culture into which the children is born and are greatly influenced by ego and personal involvement. So, by taking this discussion, we can sum up that for the development, for the child development, the role of anyone, either it is heredity or environment, cannot be neglected. Both are equally important for the development of the child. So, this is, I think, today's discussion. If you have any query, any question, you may ask, or I am just stopping.
Hello, sir. This is Rima here. I have a question. So
Yes,
you said that this meeting, this session is recorded. Is there a possibility wherein we can get this session, the recording
yes,
of this
yes,
session?
yes, of
How do
course.
I get it?
After the completion of all sessions, the all recording will be available on the RC Chandigarh website.
Okay, is there a possibility wherein you can give me the address of the website on the chat?
Simple, write RC Chandigarh website on the Google and you will reach at the RC website.
Okay, I'll just try it once right now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no issue. So, okay, thank you. And we will meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay, have a good day.